Boom! Tell me we're on time. There we go. You have to center it. Guys, jump on here real quick if you don't mind. See if we can get the show on the road. See if we can hit the tires and light the fires. I got a phone call. I need to call them back, is what it is. Guys, do me a favor, if you could sling this broadcast around to people that you think would be interested in this conversation, and let's talk about it. After all, this is the life we have chosen, a life of social media controversy at times. And I find that in my longevity using this medium, and I often say this to you, and I'll say it again, and I won't stop saying it, and please forgive my repetitiveness. Before I continue, I need to absolutely be sure that you guys can hear me loud and clear. So what I usually do is I check it on my monitor here on my phone. If I can hear my voice loud and clear, it tells me that we're on the same page. So what I usually do is I check it on my monitor. Perfect. Here on my phone. Perfect. We're good to go. We're going to hit the tires and light the fires. So what I was saying was, my experience is that because this is the life we've chosen in terms of social media commentary, and I often tell you that the great privilege of sitting here in front of this camera addressing an audience is that, you know, if there's something that happens within the social media space that I'm interested in, I will turn on my phone and my lights and I'll talk about it. And I will sprinkle my opinion dust on that topic. That's all I do. And of course, in the process, I ruffle feathers, I yank chains, I boil people's blood, I just rub people the wrong way. That's the name of the game. That's not my intention, though, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that human beings, who they are, will not agree with you 100%. There are people that misunderstand everything I say. There are some people that listen to what I say. They listen to it, it resonates, it makes sense, and then they say, you know, Mr. Mwewa, I agree with you on that point. And then there are other people who just are closed to me. They just, because they don't like me, it doesn't matter what I say. I could tell them, a truck is about to run into you, mate. What you need to do is to step out of the road and onto the sidewalk. Oh no. But as long as it's Simon Mwewa that has said it, shire fumapo, they get in chimota gachalampunka kafie. Yote today by nyatinde fumamumse. Why? Why unuzaso? That's the life we've chosen. So anyway, and again, I'll give you an example of, there are many things I've said that people misunderstand. When I referred to Dandy Crazy's incident, my point in Dandy Crazy was, there are certain things that we do that place our lives in harm's way. Sometimes we depart way before our time because we have deliberately placed ourselves in harm's way. That was my point. But again, it was lost in translation. People said, no, he wasn't driving, he wasn't drinking, but you missed the point. And yet Dandy Crazy and I were very dear friends. I mean, he was a good friend of mine. He was always jovial. He was just such a nice, wonderful human being, and I loved him. You know, but my point was misunderstood. And then there's this idea, people have this thing, no, it's good advice, but at the wrong time. Well, you tell me when there's a time schedule for death. You tell me. Tell me the next time death says to you, okay, I'm going to show up at 2 o'clock. You can talk about me at 4 o'clock. People are dying every day. They're dying now. One day you're going to die. And guess what? Newsflash, One day I'm going to die. One day there's going to be a news flash on Facebook. Stambala Mwewa dies. It's going to happen. Okay? We're going to, and when that happens, we're going to meet on that beautiful shore by and by. Ooh, when the morning comes, all the saints God are gathered home. We will tell the story how we overcame. Na ishapokale twaya. We'll understand it better by and by. And people are going to stand and they're going to talk about us when we die. By and by, when the morning comes. Woo! Don't get me started now. Don't get me started. Okay, let's get into it. You know, guys, I have to tell you, let me share this with you. Oh, by the way, before I share that, very sad news out of Kenya. Raila, what's his name? Odinga? The former prime minister of that beautiful country, Kenya. I've never been to Kenya. I've been at the airport in transit, but I've never mingled with the Kenyans. And sad news, he passed away, and that's really, really sad news. I don't know the cause of death. I'm hearing cardiac arrest. I'm hearing that. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But our sincere condolences go out to the people, the wonderful people of Kenya. And we are sorry for your loss. God bless you. God bless Kenya. In entertainment news, D'Angelo also passed away, pancreatic cancer. D'Angelo that sang Brown Sugar. Remember the guy? His inspiration was Prince. Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince, inspired to a large degree D'Angelo, and I just heard on the wireless a few minutes ago that D'Angelo died and he passed away. All right, let's get into it. I was going to mention to you that here at the office at Simoson Building, I often receive guests. People come to me, and young artists. This happens all the time. I just don't share it with you. Lots of young artists, people that draw, that paint. Some will bring me portraits of me. You know, they do this with all celebrities. The game, the hustle, and there's nothing wrong with the hustle, but I'll explain to you what I find offensive about that. What they do is they'll draw an image of you as an artist, or as a famous person. Some people think we're famous. I don't think I am. And then they will bring you a drawing or a painting of you. And initially, when this first started happening, I used to say to the guys, is this a gift? Are you gifting me with this? And they'd say, yes, I'm gifting you. And I'd receive it. And I'd say, thank you. Thank you for this. And then they would slap me with a bill and say, it's a gift, Mr. Mwewa, but it's only 500 kwacha. I said, Uti, a gift? Yes, it's a gift. I've brought it for you. Yeah, but a gift, you don't charge for a gift. No, it's just, I said, well, don't call it a gift. Tell me that you're here to sell it to me. Don't say it's a gift. Okay, I'm here to sell it to you. I said, well, I don't have $500. I love the drawing, but I don't have $500 stuffed down my pants right now, sorry to say. Okay. Now, what these artists do is they make you buy it by P, which is wrong. I don't think that's right. I shouldn't have to feel obligated to buy a drawing of me. Now, of course, some people say, no, you are helping him. It's better than stealing. When you steal, you go to jail. Okay? Let's be clear about that. There are a few pieces, I have one or two of them here in my office, that are exceptionally well done. Exceptionally well done. And I would be interested in buying it. And I've bought a few. But there are some drawings, you look and you think, you need to go back to drawing school. You got me out here looking like the Count. One guy showed up and he drew something. I had a nose that looked like Count Dracula. Remember Count Dracula from Sesame Street? Up, 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 up. One apple. Up, 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 up. Two up. And then the lightning would flash and the thunder would roll. Up, 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 up. Homeboy had me looking like the Count. I looked at that drawing. I said, son, you got me looking like the Count. He looked at me and said, Count what could you? What could you? You know, I let a drawing bwana. Ni 400 watch. If you're account to fish. I said, son, you need to go back to drawing school. Somebody needs to teach you how to draw. I'm not going to pay 400 kwacha for something that makes me look like the Count. Four apples. Get up out of here with that crazy drawing. Baby, if you're about a fool, that's the winner. Oh, they get so offended. And yet you have to be honest with these chaps. Just tell them, if you want to watch that draw, if you are this is ridiculous. Go back to art school. Guys, don't celebrate mediocrity. Don't reward mediocrity. If somebody draws a painting of you and it's not so great, tell them it's not great. Don't pretend and say, oh, this is gorgeous. I haven't seen anything more beautiful in my life. Here's $1,000. Drives me up the wall, mate. It does. Right, let's get into it. Last night, Cosmos. You know, Cosmos, what's his last name? You know, the young fella that plays, that used to play Logic on a hit television show called Impali. He's an actor, come director. And I'll be very frank, in all fairness, to be fair, he's quite an accomplished director. You know, he recently put together a film called Mwizukanji, which now he's done a sequel to Mwizukanji. There's Mwizukanji 2. My understanding is that it's based on the life of Mwizukanji. Even when I first commented about the first movie that he directed, Mwizukanji, people misunderstood me. I got the sense that he was dissing Yo Maps in an effort to sell his movie to the public. My point was, he didn't have to do that. You know, every so often he would put posts about, he would say something negative about Yo Maps in reference to the movie so that he can sort of, you know, market the movie to the public. That was my perception of what he was doing. And so my opinion was, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to disparage Yo Maps. You don't have to talk bad about Yo Maps in order to promote your film. Just promote the movie. We'll go and see it. You don't have to appear salacious, plant innuendo, say, no, Yo Maps challenge definitely. You don't do that. Just sell your movie. Sell it the way it is. We'll go and watch it. Yeah, Zambians totally misunderstood. No, mwewa, you're jealous. You're just jealous of what? I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not a director. You know, I'm all about all things Zambian, mate. So I'm not, you can't get me on that. Okay? I mean, my record speaks for itself. As long as it's Zambian, it's positive, it's moving in the right direction, I am on board 1,000%. Okay? So you can't tag me in that way, right? Okay, here we go. Cosmos did a reactionary video to something I had said on my page regarding this tradition called Chimbuya. Now, let me be clear. Chimbuya means cousinship. There is this playful banter that exists between my tribe, my people, the Bemba people, and the Easterners. It's been going on for years, and it's playful banter. It's done in a loving way. We love each other. There's no animosity. There's no bad blood. It's all done in a spirit of playful banter. Do you know what that means? Playful banter. Can you just say that in the comments down there? playful banter, meaning today angalafie. Today, we love each other, and we tell jokes about one another. We take little playful jabs about one another, and it's all understood as playful banter. Nothing about it is offensive. Nothing about it is abrasive. Nothing about our playful cousinship is apprehensive. None of it. It's all friendly. Now, what happens is that when one of us dies, when my tribal cousin dies, in this case, if a person from the East dies, I am doused with powder. If a person from my tribe dies, they are doused with powder. Doused means powder's poured over your head. Doused. D-O-U-S-E-D. Doused. Okay? Let me explain the original meaning and the original method that was used in the olden days in respect to this traditional phenomenon. You see, in the old days, it wasn't about dousing, and it wasn't about money. Here recently, it has become about extorting money from not only members of the family, not only associates of the bereaved, associates of the late. This traditional phenomenon is now targeted at people who attend a funeral that happen to be from the opposite tribe. And it has been trivialized and commercialized. Commercialized in the sense that when I, as a Bemba man, go to an Easterner's funeral, I am threatened with dousing unless I pay. That's wrong, because it has now become commercial. It's trivialized in the sense that there's a lot of laughing and joking and hey, chensaring. In my language, you say kuchensa. There's a lot of kuchensa, kuchidiro at a funeral. And my position has always been the same. A funeral is not funny. There's nothing funny about a funeral. There's no light moment at a funeral. And that's the reason I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today, and please, it bears repeating, forgive my repetitiveness. There's a time for everything. A funeral is not a time to be laughing, joking, and making jokes. Hey, iwe, mwikateni, muleteni kuno, afuka miapa, leteni powder, iwe, hey. In the midst of grief, at the core, right smack dab, in the middle of grief, you're joking and you're playing around and you're fooling around. That's not right. Now, the original way of doing it, and this is what you are missing. The original way, and this is part of our culture, the original way was that they used to take ubunga, maize meal. We call it breakfast meal. Just a bit of pampumi. You just smear a tiny bit of white maize meal on the head with a single finger, just a tiny bit. That was an indication of our tradition that I've explained, our cousinship, ichimbuya. That was the extent of it. And it was done with respect and reverence, and it was done with love. Now, it's been transformed into trivia. People laugh at a funeral. It's been transformed into, it's been commercialized. If you don't want me to douse you, pay me money. They are now making money on the back of someone's grief. And then, and this is the sinister part, this is the part where Cosmas, what's his name? Ningandwe, who is he? This is the part where they lose it. When Cosmas claims, no, to achita raise 6,000 kwacha. And then I say, well, but yo, to achita raise 10 million, 10,000 indeed. Sorry, 10,000 kwacha. Who's there to audit that? You see, therein lies the conundrum of dealing with public money. When you begin to have access to people's money publicly, they will ask you, they'll take you to task. But who's there to audit your claim? No, mwewa, you can't say that kupera want to about pay chiro gabi. Ero ngabatu pay tapadi ule chita audit. Kutwala fisha shin. Ngatwa chita raise 500 in each shin. No, that's wrong. Uboni buka bolala. Uboni bu sikerem. Chimuna badianga na wakwate ichiriro bale pitana naka book naka picture. You know, the same thing that happens when people, when they have a funeral and they have a little picture of the deceased and then they say contribute. I never give to those because that money is never when they raise 500 kwacha, they only take 100 kwacha to the family. The 400 walakana they divide amongst themselves. That is the nature. And that is the truth. If you don't believe that, well, that is your problem. That is your Waterloo. I never give to those efforts because there's no accountability there. It is an opportunity to make money on the back of a family that is grieving. In the same vein, by the same token, uyu Cosmas nabanankwe baliani bacha kolwafye beka beka nangwalera ndamailo. He was saying yesterday, no, in a shinwa bwalwa. That's fine, that's okay. But badia wali na bobadia bonse ni bacha kolwa bakuchibodia bakukanyambadia badi baira na bakolwa shifiki ibwalo bufikire no. So you can't tell us if to the bakala mbaba ne tetumule be pa ifoe if to the bafiashi. We've seen more suns than you. We have seen more moons than you. So when we are talking in this way, you just listen. Chapwa. Tapali fimbi yo. If you're no, your chief father, that is neither here nor there. If we know what we're talking about, that's the reason we are older than you. This is not our first rodeo. Okay, let's just be clear. So my point is, as long as now you have commercialized it, you have turned this into a commercial effort, you are now going to be taken to task. And the people will ask you tough questions. Mwapoka shinga. How much have you raised? Where is the money? Who was auditing? Wachakolo wa kuchibodia. Kuti wachita audit chakolo wa kuchibodia iwe. Walimu mwana chakolo wa kuchibodia. Na baira na akolwa ati audit. Ngala kumfu walambira pesa. Where are you going to start? So these are the things you have to deal with. So the issue here, Bane, and I'll say it again. Don't trivialize a funeral with that nonsense. Putting powder on the people. If you have kufuala mwao naula, imishishi mwao naula, mwa mushingo muntu na lipstick mwa movifia asanka fya kwati china maficha panga. Nama ya mpanga fya ituntulu. Umukashana na muleka bwino mwa ya mwona ula kuchirido in the name of Chimbuya. That's wrong. And then on top of that, you charge them. That is ridiculous. I'm not going to stand for that. Don't do that. Don't do that. It is offensive. Edio mule patikishaba. Mwila patikishaba antu. Wafwembo muntu wamufwemba. Wamchafwembiksi. Do you know what it means to fwemba? To grab. Wamuchitefi. Iwe sakuno kalapanshi fukama. Lete ni powder kuno iwe ulina shingapo. Shachepa wala shifumia. Ulefwaya nanguta ulefwaya oh ichebo wala shifumia. That is nonsense. That is total nonsense. You are now, you've transformed it into something that it's not. You've changed the vibe. The vibe should be grief, mourning, kulosha. That should be the vibe. Why? Because it is a sign of respect to the departed and to the bereaved. Nomba mwewa kadoli katwisha tumule chitamule na mupena na musemuka mwasanga ifina ma sakuna iwe fukama kuchililo edio nga twalanda ko twalufyanya twalanda ko twabembuka twalanda ko mwatutuka. There was Christmas yesterday. I saw ntuka echilifi aleba ine ati ulichipuba ine bano ndine mukulu we mwana we munone pantu ndi mwanche pali nebo ule itaine chichipuba tawafundwa. You don't have a family, huh? You are not trained. Were you not trained by your parents to say abakalamba mwila tukabakalamba mwila salula abakalamba awe sugar pa Facebook kudu atu bakwa fe chilifi asula nako alosha nakumbi aisa chita post Christmas kuti no mumwewa Simon muwewa tichipuba ine panondi panompelele uleba ina tichipuba ngabana bobe pakukula bantu if yole chita kuli nebo abana bobe na bakula kutukanga ngabakula a sake of life bane. That is something you ignore. In the beba I tell them without tukwabulo kutuishika kufisanda beba, if you let tukaine abana bobe baka kutuka. That's why it's important to teach your children. If my wife and I, we've got 4 children, you will never hear our children insulting anyone. Why? Because we've trained them. Twaliba funda na ile wine ifwe twale kula ifwe. My mother and my father wale ba mayo ba unfole tuka mama sengelelo kokanshi wala chimona tabale angasha Simon mwewa na ba Florence mwewa mawe, they'll take you to task. This generation, do they have that? They don't. With this Facebook, you just insult. Cosmas aisalemba timubeba Simon ati chipuba. Cosmas akwata followers 1 million. But they are 1 million. Mwali baba ichabengi. Guess what those children are going to be doing? Bakula baba fiyashi baba ti ibo muri chipuba. You daddy, you uli chipuba sana iwe. Uleba neti chipuba. We are followers of Cosmas. Fweba kwata ama followers 1 million. Ile ungatwe bati ngalanda ti aisa iwa aiba wati uli chipuba. Before we just follow suit. We just copy. That is what you have to contend with. That is your Waterloo. And then, what I found interesting about Cosmas, when he went live, I don't know why you do. Let me just, side note. Bane ngamlea live, invest in your lives. Don't go live from your cars. It shows to your audience that you're not serious. Put some effort into your lives. Make sure that you are kuka corner somewhere. Wabuka light. You prepare yourself so that your audience takes you seriously. I always tell you, when you take your audience seriously, they'll take you seriously as well. I'm not saying you should have a rich, big set. No, I'm saying just have somewhere where your audience knows that, oh, you've put some effort and some preparation into addressing them. Not from a motoka. From a motoka, it means you're not serious. It's just a by the way thing. It's nonchalant. It's a by the way. Don't do that. Yeah. No matter these days. So if you're not under na bemboka. No, you can't say that. We are going to sit in the car. Anyway, he goes live, and this is the phenomenal thing about that. Do you know that he had, as he was waiting for the audience to build, and it was building rapidly. I mean, I don't get those types of numbers. I don't. I mean, from the moment he goes live, the numbers were just skyrocketing, mate. 1,000, 1,005, 2,000, 2,000. And I'm thinking, these kids are amazing. To have an audience of 2,500 people at the drop of a hat, do you have any idea how powerful you are? Do you know the power that resides within your hand? 2,500 people watching you. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me. I thought, wait a minute. These jokers are not here to learn. They're here to hear Cosmas insult me. The reason Cosmas had 2,500 people is because they were all waiting for him to start insulting me. So that they start laughing. And so that they start sending me messages. Ati ba mwewa kuno na ba mituka muleo mfuafya. Na musevana. Na Zambian Facebook ba alichite mwecho ala na musevana kuno na ba mituka mwatuka ni wakuno. That's what Zambians love. Cosmas, when he saw that in Africa 2,500, I think the most was 2006. Ero amba nombo kulandati. Awe, ine ba mubeba mwewati nesha abatuke ine njishire mukushama ama tickets ya mwezu kanji itu. Tell Mr. Mwewa that I'm not here to insult him, but you couldn't tukakale mu post. Ilia post at mubeba mwewati ba mwewa chipo. Tapa ife nefia kuseka pano. I don't laugh at that nonsense because it's not right. You don't laugh when someone calls you chipuba, especially abaichi. Nantukakale. It's happened already. But when he went live with an audience of 2,500, almost 2,600 people, I think Bali Fikana 3,000. Yes, I think Bali Fika 3 pin. Nanshapo with bated breath. Cosmas' audience members. Na they karat yo. Alaba tukaba mwewa. To ala umfako. Batuke tusekeko. I said, but that disappoint. We said, to know. Mubeba mwewatisha batuke inenjishire mukushitama tickets. Mweba lipano ambeni kushitama tickets 300 kwacha pe pop. Mule yangana no mwina Zambia. Ya afuma pali 3,000 ya isa number 28, 27, 25. Ya Africa number 2,000. The more he talked about the tickets, the more the numbers went down. Why? Because umwina Zambia afuayo mulomo, afuayo nsele, afuayo musalula. That is what it is. I mean, this is there. So the moment he started talking about the tickets, the audience started to fall away. Well, the public tickets. If what we should if you're twishire kuno, we ati iwe Cosmas alipa live hapa. Achi tuweba ati ala abatukaba mwe hapa 19 hours. No mbaleshi chama ticket. Switch on the live. Tapali yafe belera ndawe. Tale batuka aleshi chama ticket. Ati 300 kwache pe pop. Inga ine 300 kwache na ala yafu miyako. Pantu ine inkongene nsele. That is serious. Zambians. Tulibachabe. We are something else. And then go to J. Tony. J. Tony, wambo kunanda no mapali reflector and at yo mwewa mfwenima mwewa filamukopa abantu mu street. But if at this stage you don't understand why I vlog, I create video diaries for historical purposes. 50 years, 100 years from today, nanshapokare na yakumulu, I won't even be here 50 years from now. But these videos will be here. They will be here as a footnote, as a reference point for people to watch and say, oh, I feel bad, yapa. Oh, everybody Monica, if you Cairo. Everybody fuale efi. Efi akulia baleli efi. That is the purpose. No memu mwewa puale yo ule tukopa. Wa tukopa. Eh? Ubu shidu fe weka. Anyway. Thanks for listening. God bless. Bye.